Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to the Best of Designers. Now, I think it's important when we talk about Best of Designers that we talk about every designer, whether you're a fan of their work or not. And so today we're going to talk about a designer that I usually don't like all of his games, and that's Leo Colovini. Now, I think part of that is because he's very, very mechanical. His games do not, usually come forth brimming with theme, although there can be theme in them. But at the same time, I was like, okay, I'm not really a huge fan of his games, but I was able to get 10 games, actually, that I have as my favorites. Now, you'll say, you're missing such and such and such. Well, yes, and you guys have room in the comments to pick the games that I miss. But despite all that, let's take a look here at the favorite games from Leo Colovini. And even if I'm not one of his biggest fans, he certainly has done a lot, and he has some great games. Number 10, Tentacle. This is a kid's game, but kids' games are important to talk about. As you're moving around the board without trying to get hit by a tentacle from a giant octopus in the middle. Number 9 is Kesari, or I believe the newest version is I Go. This is the Kesari one, which is the version I played, a little pirate card game, as you're just playing the different cards and trying to win. I enjoyed this one. Number 8 is probably his most famous game, and that's Carcassonne. In fact, there's Carcassonne 2 and Carcassonne 3, which, 3 was a completely different game. But Carcassonne is a game in which you're trying to get pirates out of jail. They're all escaping. And it's very mechanical, where you play a card and you move the distance. You move to a symbol shown in that card. But if you have that symbol covered up by other pirates, you can move farther. So you might leapfrog over other people. It's basically a giant game of leapfrog. It's almost Candyland for adults. But it does work well. And every time I've taught this to people, they have enjoyed it. Number 7 is Careless. This was a big deal when I was getting into the hobby. Not as many people talk about this one now, it's kind of an area control game, but you're moving around these pieces, very abstract style, and they're shrinking and getting to be fewer pieces as you go in, but some pretty cool and clever play there. Number 6 is the Dutch Golden Age. Interestingly enough, this one is kind of a roll and move game. You are literally rolling a guy and moving around the outside, and where he lands, different things are going to happen. However, there's more to the game than that. You're trying to control different areas on the board and trying to get money. It's your typical trading resources style game with that roll and move thing on the outside, but it works, and I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. Number 5 is Justinian. Now, this game is really intriguing because it has a mechanism I haven't seen in many games, where Justinian has all these advisor boards in the middle of it, and you are picking up a board and moving it to the end, and you're sliding these boards around, which is going to change how much things are worth and change how you place your tiles and control these different advisors to the king. Ultimately, the game is not as fascinating as that sounds, but it still is pretty good, and therefore makes this list. Number 4 is Incognito. Designed with Alex Randolph, Incognito is a spy-style game in which it's a game that you pretty much need exactly 4 players to play, in which you're a team with someone on the table, but you don't know who. And you're going around and talking to people and interrogating people, trying to figure out what your mission is, who your partner is, and how to complete your mission before the other 2 people. An excellently designed game, and there's really nothing on the market like it. Number 3 is Carcassonne the Discovery. Sure, Carcassonne was designed by Klaus-Jürgen Reid, but Carcassonne the Discovery, Leo Colovini had an interesting idea where he took it, added some things to it, especially the idea of when to score. You decide when to pull the meeple off and to score, and it also looks pretty. And, I was like, oh, Carcassonne from Colovini, I'm not going to like it. Turned out it was one of my favorite variants of the game. Number 2 is Europa 1945 to 2030. Don't be turned off by this very, very freaky cover here, but this is a game about, building the European Union. And so that's your job over the course of this game, is to get different countries to join the European Union. And as you do so, you'll get points if you're the person who helped convince that country to come in. So it has a historical bent with some flavor in there and kind of an area control style game. And I'm just very impressed with it. I really like it. And number 1, a co-design that he did with Bruno Fedduti, and that is Bonk Loboc, which probably has more Fedduti in it than Colovini, but whoever, it's a game I like a lot. It's a little gambling game where you're moving around the board, betting on different spots, and hoping that you get all the money there, but if someone else cheats, they get the money there. It's kind of a double bluff style game. You look at someone else and think, are you doing that? I mean, that's essentially the whole point of this game, but it's hilarious fun, and it works great with 6 players. I love this game, Bonk. Those are my favorite games from Mr. Leo Colovini. I'm sure yours are different. Tell me in the comments which ones you like, which ones I shouldn't have on my list. Either way, until next time, I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching The Dice Tower. Best of Designers, Leo Colovini.